Welcome. Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 33, recorded on the 27th of January 2024, released on the 2nd of February 2024. This episode of the Everything Podcast will contain spoilers from the Neighbours review. The Neighbours episode released on the 21st of December 2023, which I'll do a review on in a second. Says the spoiler alert, but before I get into actual spoilers, here's my spoiler-free thought of this episode, which I loved the scenes between Byron and Nicolette. Final spoiler warning. Now, so if you have not watched this episode, either go and watch it, or if you don't mind being spoiled, you can carry on watching. If you have watched it, continue watching the episode. Byron continues to talk with the woman he was talking to at the end of the last episode. Nicolette sees Byron, talks to this woman. Nicolette talks to Aaron about the woman. Paul checks in with Chloe about her and Ellie's wedding. Paul invites Chloe to join him for Christmas. Nicolette talks to Byron about the woman he was with in the waterhole. Nicolette finds out that Byron still has the necklace Reese gave him. Teresa Jane's pitch now has council approval. Chloe talks to Melanie about Tina. Melanie comments on Paul's previous sketchy behaviour. Aaron talks to Paul about his job at the waterhole. Byron and Haz have a disagreement over Byron telling Holly a comment Haz said to him in confidence. Haz talks about Byron to Aaron and Chloe. Aaron mentions Chloe and Ellie's wedding. Chloe mentions Aaron and David's wedding. Jane tells Melanie that Tina's dad is a counsellor. Nicolette and Byron talk about his decision to spend Christmas overseas in escort and Jane's reaction to finding out when Byron decides to tell her. Byron can't tell Jane about his Christmas plans. Aaron and Isla go to visit Paul. Paul gives a present to Aaron that is meant for Isla, and Paul asks Aaron to not say it's from him, otherwise David won't accept the present. Melanie works out that Paul hired Tina back so that Tina's dad would be able to push Teresa Jane's pitch through council. Paul works out that Melanie is still in love with Tony. Nicolette meets the woman that Byron has been talking to and is planning on going overseas with. The woman mistakes Nicolette for one of Byron's clients. Nicolette reveals she is Byron's sister to the woman. Nicolette mentions Byron's relationship with Reese. Melanie tells Jane about Paul's recent behaviour. Melanie also tells Therese and Tony. Byron confronts Nicolette about her meddling in his Christmas plans. Therese confronts Paul about his influence over her and Jane's pitch. Paul confesses to Therese that he is still in love with her. Byron fills in Jane about his planned return to escorting. Jane comforts Byron. I cannot say his name. Let's try that again. Jane comforts Byron about Reese. Nicolette watches Byron and Jane's conversation. Paul tries to justify his actions to Therese. Paul admits that he overstepped. Therese asks Paul to stay out of her life for good. We now have a couple of videos to talk about, so that's for the review. And I should have said, I forgot to add it in, the episode finished off with a coming up trailer. Now we're going to talk about the Robinsons Roundup. Paul talks about Nell's 15th birthday party. Paul mentions Krista returning from rehab. Paul mentions that Therese and Jane are back on the same page. And Byron at the waterhole with a mysterious woman. Next up is the Christmas Eve video, which was obviously released on Christmas Day. And Candice, who plays Wendy, Henrietta, who plays Sam, and Lucinda, who plays Melanie, wish us a Merry Christmas with Stefan, who plays Paul, suggesting the opposite. So that's it for this episode. So in tomorrow's episode, I'll be reviewing the Christmas Day episode, so the episode of Neighbours that was released on the 25th of December 2023. But before I go, remember you can like and subscribe and let me know in the comments below what you thought about the episode if you watched it, and my review if you didn't. As I said, you can do both those things in the comments below. But that's it for the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 33. Goodbye.